to thank everybody for coming out today for another Sabbath lesson. Today's topic is entitled The Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles is what we're going to learn today. We're going to read the introduction. Shalom Israel, thank you for coming together for another weekly Sabbath lesson. Regarding the scriptures, one of our biggest stumbling blocks for our people is the understanding of who are the Gentiles. Today we'll go precept upon precept and break down this hot topic. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of His holy word. So first things first, we're going to go to, this is just somebody that posted the definition of Gentile from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. If you don't have one, it's a good reference tool for learning different words in the Bible. So these are the scholars that know about the word. They study this stuff. We're going to get the definition. You can read it right there on the screen too. We're just going to read the first line or two.
Say the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
So it says, usually it means a non-Israelite people. So when we read in the Old Testament, when you hear about the heathens or the Gentiles, who is it talking about?
The people that are not from our nation.
Exactly. So then, right here it's telling you that usually it means the non-Israelite people. So it's going to be a time where you're going to read it in the Bible where what? It's talking about who?
Israelites.
Our people. So the key word in that thing, in the definition, is usually. So it doesn't always mean the heathens or the other nations. It could mean Israelites. And we're going to learn about why they were called Gentiles or how they became Gentiles. We've had some lessons that we've gone over it a little bit. We're just going to pull out some more precepts today. So the first, we just need to establish a base before we go deep into it. So we're going to go to Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. So first we got to establish who the Lord is dealing with, who He gave His word to, which we've read on other occasions. But for those that's just coming into the truth that may not know these scriptures. So Psalms 147, 19 and 20.
Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments to Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
So, Corn, what does that mean? What does those two verses mean? What does that mean to you when it says, He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. What's that mean?
He's teaching them the word of God.
Who is he teaching? Who's teaching who the word of God?
The tribes. Yeah.
Right, so the Israelites were given the word, because Jacob is who?
Israelite.
Yeah.
Right. He's the forefather of who? The 12 tribes, right? Yeah. Israel is who?
Us.
It's still us, right? He said He have not dealt so with any nation. What does that mean?
He doesn't mess with the other people.
Exactly. He never dealt with them on that level, right? He said, and for His judgments they have not known them. And the judgments are what?
When you sin, you get judged by
It's the penalties for your sin. Good job.
You got it, man.
So we just establishing a base first. We got to see who the Lord is dealing with. So good job. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33 and 4. So Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 4. Israel's giving the word.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 4. Moses commanded us a law.
Hold on. Read that again.
Moses commanded us a law.
Who is the us?
Israel.
Israel. Because we're in Deuteronomy. This was the first 5 books. We know who was in the wilderness. So he said he commanded us a law.
Even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob.
So the law is what? Our what?
Command.
Inheritance.
Inheritance. He said he even, it's the same thing as an inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. So he dealt with us only. These laws that he gave us was our inheritance. We inherited those laws. Right? Pretty simple so far, right? Let's go to the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and 27. In the parentheses on the, it says we were chosen, right? So 2nd Esdras chapter 5 verse 27.
In the Apocrypha.
In the Apocrypha.
Ezra is who in the regular Bible?
Ezra.
Good job, man. You nailed it. So 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse 27.
Chapter 5.
Excuse me. Chapter 5 verse 27. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all.
So he said, among all the multitude of all the many people in this world, right? Thou hast gotten thee one people. Who's that one people again? Israel. He said, and unto this people, Israel, whom thou lovest. He's telling you who he loves. He said, thou gave us a law that is approved of all. So remember, we just read they were given a law. He didn't deal with anybody else. The law was Israel's inheritance. He chose that one people out of the whole multitude of people on the earth. We just setting the foundation because we're about to go into it. So now we're going to go to 2nd Esdras 6, 55 through 59. So it says, they didn't make the team. Y'all know how it is if you ever been on the court. Boys picking up squad. If you don't make it, you feeling left out. You feel some type of way. Hey, these other nations be feeling some type of way, man. It is what it is. We just reading the scriptures. Take it up with God. So 2nd Esdras chapter 6, we're going to start at 55 and go down to 59.
2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come from Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Stop for a second. This is heavy. So he said, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Again, that's possession. That's ours. He's talking about something that's his. That's ours as a nation. We know who he's talking about, Israel. He said, as for the other people, who's those other people?
The other nations.
The other nations. They also come from Adam, right? He said, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. What's spittle? Spit. If you talking and spit fly out your mouth, that's what he's comparing them to.
If you talking and some spit come out your mouth, have you ever seen anybody do this to try to catch the spit? You just wipe it off and keep moving. He said the abundance of them.
Then he said right after that, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. If you ever carrying a bucket of water and it's full to the top, some of it fall out on the side, you just let that little water go, don't you?
A drop fall out a bucket full of water.
You're not worried about that one drop.
You ever see somebody dive to the ground to stop the drop from hitting the ground?
So let's read on, verse 57.
And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us.
What does that mean? So he's saying that these heathen, Lord. First he said, these people are nothing. He said, you told us they were nothing, Lord. You made the world for our sakes. And then he said, but now, O Lord, these heathen, which have a reputation of being nothing, have begun to be lords over us. What does it mean to be lords over us? To rule over us. Man, you on a roll today. And devour us. How have they devoured us?
Like killing us.
Killing us, mentally destroying us, spiritually destroying us. Taking over.
Getting credit for everything.
Because listen, the world was made for our sakes. They done reduced us to what? Blocks and little
slaves.
And slaves, man.
The world was made for you. And now you at the bottom worshiping somebody that they compare
that was nothing. They was your slaves at one point. They was your servants at one point. How would you feel if you had somebody working for you? They at the bottom, and the next thing you know, you blink and they on top of you and they calling the shot. You'd be feeling a little weird. You're like, hold on, wouldn't I just?
What do they call a dog? Man's what?
Oh,
Best friend.
Man's best friend, meaning the dog job is to only be around and do whatever the man tell you to do. So imagine now a dog that's been a dog his whole life
Is over you.
telling you what to do now. And you know this dog ain't got no common sense. You're the human.
So all right, let's move on. Verse 58.
But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands.
But we thy people. He's saying, but we your people, Lord, whom thou hast called your firstborn, your only begotten, your fervent lover. We're giving it to the hands of these people. That was reputed as nothing. Verse 59.
If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? How long?
So what? Obviously, he's speaking from a standpoint of what is he in right now? In captivity. Just like we are. We come into the knowledge of who we are as a people. And now you realize this and you're like, dang.
How long?
The world was given into our hands and we got these people that's over us. They was as nothing. And he's saying, how long shall we endure this, Lord? So, hey, it's serious. Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 15. Because, some people will say the Apocrypha ain't scriptures. It ain't
not
inspired
canonical
by God. But let's read it in Isaiah. He said the same thing. Remember, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses,
word shall be established.
word shall be established. What verse? 15 through 17. So we're just establishing the base right now. We're going somewhere with this. So Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15.
Isaiah chapter 40 verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
Sound familiar, don't it? Didn't we just read that like a vessel, like a drop from a vessel? Remember we just read that? So he said, behold, the nations are a drop of a bucket. Read.
And are counted as the small dust of the balance.
He went even further. If you put some small dust on a scale, what's it going to weigh? Nothing. It ain't going to tip the scale. He said that's how the nations are counted as. This is not my words. This is from the word of God. Why these scriptures not being read in the churches? They going to skip over these because it's going to hurt some feelings.
And most of the people are.
Exactly. So it's going to hurt some feelings. Most of them people are that. So this is why people, they don't really believe in the Bible. They quote the scriptures that they like. But when it comes down to it, if they really read, they would see these scriptures and be like, hold on, Lord, who is this people that he's talking about that's counted as nothing? So read on.
Behold, he take up the isles as a very little thing.
Read.
And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing, and vanity.
So same thing we just read. Isaiah saying the same exact thing.
All nations.
Wow, that's heavy. So where we at? We at Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. So we first established who God gave the word to, who he loved, who he chose.
And how he feel about
and how he feel about the other nations. Right?
Yeah.
So did God change his mind all of a sudden?
No.
Did he just say like, you know?
Because that's what they say.
When the New Testament come around, that's what I say, when the New Testament came, Christ must have been speaking something different than what the Most High was saying, because he loves everybody now. That's what they tell me.
They say the Jews are no longer his people. Everybody gets a shot now.
So let's read. Let's see if God has that type of characteristic where he say something, but then he go back on it. So Malachi 3 and 6.
Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not.
I what?
Change not.
I change not. Read on.
Therefore ye sons of God, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
So for I am the Most High. That's what he's saying. I'm the Most High. I change not. I don't have to change. What I say is going to stand. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Meaning not what?
Done away with. How they oh, excuse me.
Exactly. Oh no. You get it right on the nail. We not done away with.
And
Where?
says that right before the New Testament.
Wow. This is right before the New Testament stuff. Ah. Alright.
Because that lie is that the Jews are no longer the people that God loves everybody.
They rejected him. They say that the Jews rejected him, and so therefore he did away with them and he accepted everybody that just was willing to. That's what they say.
I don't change.
The Lord's telling you right here, I change not. Let's read on. Let's read a little bit, another precept. Numbers 23 and 19.
Damn, this one's so long but fast.
It don't take long to chop boys up.
Numbers chapter 23 verse 19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. He hath said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good?
What has the Lord said that that hasn't come to pass? If he says something gonna happen, it's gonna happen, right? That's basically what he's saying in a rhetorical way. He said God is not a man. He's not like us. He's a spirit. He's not flesh like us, to where sometimes we lie about stupid stuff. The Lord says something, he means it. It's gonna happen. He said, and neither of the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Is this something he said and he ain't gonna do it? Why would he not do it? He's God. He's the Most High. So this is a precept for Malachi 3 and 6, telling you this is giving the characteristics of God. So let's go to the next one, Hebrews 13 and 8. Because when we speak about Christ also, the scriptures say he comes in the volume of the book, right? Mm-hmm. It also says that he is the word made flesh, right? Yes. So Hebrews 13 and 8.
Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever.
So basically he don't change. Christ is the Bible. He is the word. He was spoken of in the Old Testament.
The same yesterday.
The same yesterday, today, and forever. So we just, like I said, we just establishing the base. Now we're about to get into the meat and potatoes. Because this is a big misunderstanding that's going on. We gotta get the truth. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 64. So this is when the curses was being laid out to us. If we did good, blessings was gonna happen. If we didn't do according to the word, these curses was gonna happen. So Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even to the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thy nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So it's prophecy, right? He said the Lord was going to scatter us among all people. Meaning these different nations where we located, that's he was going to scatter us. For what?
Because we were sinning.
Sinning. Disobedience. Because if we weren't sinning, we would all be together in our own land. But this was the prophecy. And of course, from reading the scriptures, we know that we not blessed right now, so you know you live in the curses. The blessings ain't on us right now. We living through the curses. Jump in whenever you feel like it. Zechariah 7 and 14. Zechariah chapter 7 and verse 14.
Zechariah chapter 7, verse 14. But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not.
Same thing, right? He scattered us. Read on.
Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate.
So we left the land. He just got us up out the land. Ain't no sinning on the Holy Land. He got us up out of there. How did he get us up out of there?
He brought our
How did we get scattered?
Due to our sins.
Did we just leave on our own? What force? What did the Lord use to get us up out of there?
The other nations.
Other nations.
Yeah, exactly. Slavery, other nations. They came through, besieged the lands, destroyed us. The ones that escaped would flee. Ones got caught up. Went into slavery. So we got scattered.
And then they stay on boats and
Exactly. So that's in Deuteronomy 28 also. It tells you the means by how we got over to these lands. So let's go to Tobit 13. And back to the Apocrypha. Tobit chapter 13 and 1 through 5.
Tobit mean what in English? I don't know.
Toby?
Toby, and what's another word?
Tobias.
Tobias. There you go, both of them. So Tobit chapter 13, verse 1 through 5. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, Blessed be the Lord that live forever, and blessed be his kingdom. For he doeth scourge, and hath mercy. He leadeth down to hell, and bringeth up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. Confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them.
Again, saying we scattered us among the Gentiles.
Then declared his greatness, and exalt him before all the living. For he is our Lord, and he is the God our Father forever. And he will
Just hold on. He's our God for how long? Forever.
Our God.
So that didn't change. Verse 5.
He said, declare this among the heathen. And he will scourge us for our iniquities, and have mercy again, and will gather us out of all nations among whom he has scattered us.
Exactly. So that's the hope that we living with right now. We know if we keep the commandments, he gonna gather us back up. The same way he scattered us, he gonna bring us back.
Did it say he gonna gather us and the nations that's with us to bring us to the land?
No.
He said he gonna gather us from out of them and bring us back. And one more thing in that verse, Verse 2, for he doeth scourge and have mercy. So he punish us and then have mercy on us. He leadeth us down to hell.
What does that mean?
And bringeth up again.
What is hell? It's a condition, right? We in hellish conditions right now. Exactly. We live
so
in
don't
hell
think
right
that you're gonna be in the under the ground being poked by the devil. He talking about a worldly condition.
Exactly. Because remember, me and wife was talking about this the other day, how they in they heaven right now, right? Because like we said, if heaven and hell is conditions, heaven is what? Heaven would be considered what? Rulership.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, when he brings the kingdom of heaven back on earth, that means it's gonna be Christ's rulership again. That's all that is. That's why the people can't identify with the Bible, because they make these fairy tales up. They got you thinking of flames with a devil cartoon with horns poking out and a stick beating on something. You know, they got you thinking of these crazy things when really it's talking about your conditions. You just at the bottom.
Proves like he brings all even the bad stuff, like the hurricanes and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
He's not only bringing good, he's bringing the bad too.
Because the Lord he got his hand in everything. Ain't nothing that's happening that ain't his doing. He ain't allowing it to go on. So Tobit's saying the same thing. We scattered among these heathens, among the Gentiles, right? Let's go to John chapter 7 and 33 through 35. This is New Testament. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So were Ezra and Toby just Israelites like everyone else in the Bible? They just took them out?
Because the word is only given to who? Israel, right? All of these books was written by Israelites that had the word put, like the spirit was put on them to write these things. He only dealt with them like that.
Ezra is in your regular Bible.
Right.
It's just not spelled as that.
It's right. And they took some of them out.
This is a time. This is the middle part. This Apocrypha. It was the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and then the New Testament. So they took out the middle years, quote unquote, the dark age time of the Bible.
They did it for a reason. They knew it would be easy to put two and two together to see who these people are.
The Apocrypha is where it tells you how we became Gentiles.
It bridges that gap.
That's why these people confused, because they missing the key history.
You missing the middle of the book. If you read any novel and the middle of the book was just taken out, you jump from one spot to the next, you'd be like, man, hold on, what happened in between this time? We went from the Old Testament straight to Greek captivity. Straight to the Roman captivity and missing all the Greek.
We just show up now. We scattered in Rome.
Yeah.
They got people called Romans and all in Ephesians. And
you don't know who these people are. You just like,
because it ain't a movie. If it was all in picture, you can see that those are the same people. Now they just got names. They just got whole different names now.
So we're in John chapter 7. That was a good question. John chapter 7, starting at 33 down to 35. We're going to see what they were speaking here.
John chapter 7, verse 33. Then said Jesus unto them, Yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me. And where I am, thither ye cannot come.
35.
Then said the Jews among themselves.
So the Jews said among themselves,
Whither will he go? And whither will he go, that we shall not find him?
Where's he going to go where we can't find him?
Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
Sound confusing if you don't know, if you ain't never read. That was the first time reading that. So let's start at 35 again. He said, Then said the Jews. So we in the New Testament, we talking about the Jews. So obviously Christ was talking to them. The verses above that in red. He said, they said among themselves, where is he going to go that we can't find him? Is he going to go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Break that down, man.
The dispersed among the Gentiles.
Who was dispersed?
Israelites.
And where were we dispersed?
Among the Gentiles.
And teach the Gentiles. Click on the word Gentile. That's the key. Click on the word Gentiles.
Remember, we read the definition earlier.
Usually mean.
Go back up. A Helen. Go to where I added Helen.
Didn't you tell us who
Hellenism. To speak Greek or to make Greek. Words used to express the assimilation, especially by the Jews, of Greek speech, manners, and culture. So today we are a Hellenized version of what? Americans. We didn't come here speaking this language. We didn't come here dealing with the mannerisms, the cultures. We some black-looking white folks. Meaning the way we act. Before you got back into this word. So the word, go back to yeah, take that down. So he said, where we
35.
disperse among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles. And teach the Hellenistic Jews, the Jews that were sent into captivity among these nations that don't even act like Jews no more. Because they picked up the mannerisms, the cultures, the way of life of wherever they were sent to. If you were sent to Rome, you was acting like the Romans. If you were sent to where the Arabs at, you was acting like the Arabs. If you were sent into slavery to Asia, you was acting however the Asians was at.
Y'all get that? Makes sense?
Thank God for the Apocrypha. Because you can click on it and it let you know that word mean hellish. Not the, the strong concordance. Thank you. That let you know exactly what Gentile mean.
And that's in the Bible dictionary also. It says Hellenists, Jews who made Greek their tongue and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. So that's also in there. It's telling you who those Hellenists were. Remember when we click bring up those maps and it shows you all those, when we click on a time period, it'll show all that territory that they owned or that they conquered and took over. That we was all over captivity in all these different places.
Well, go to all the scriptures that you. Okay, we didn't get to Maccabees.
Yeah, we get there. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So all right, one more on this. James chapter 1 verse 1. Showing you that in the New Testament, the Gentiles are the scattered Israelites, the dispersed among those Gentiles.
And these are tools that y'all can keep and have with y'all. Y'all, everybody knows somebody that don't know this, man. It was at one point I was teaching that the Gentiles was the other nation. Somebody had to pull me to the side. We literally had an emergency meeting. I had to apologize. Look, y'all, I had it all wrong. We not supposed to be dealing with these people. I know y'all ain't gonna get it right now because what we've been taught our whole life.
God love everybody.
God love everybody. I know it's gonna take a while for that to sit in. But trust me on this.
And like he said, we trying to filter that out of our head. It takes a while. Because like you said, when you're reading it now, I'm saying when you're reading it in that old mindset, a lot of things just contradict themselves in the scriptures. Because you're reading one spot where it says Israel, and then another spot where it's saying it's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither bond nor free.
Teach the Gentiles.
Teach the Gentiles. So you like, well, if they still the people, but then at the same time you say like you just don't. It's confusing, and the Lord is not the author of confusion. So if He's not confused, who's the one that's confused? We are. We the confused ones. Lord knows what He's talking about. We just got to decipher. But He only gonna put that spirit on you if you're keeping the commandments. Remember, that's the first law. That's the first order in getting in obtaining wisdom and understanding of the scriptures. So James 1 verse 1. They just flat out said it right here.
James chapter 1, verse 1.
New Testament.
James is one of the what?
Disciples.
Exactly. Who follow God, who follows Christ. Excuse me. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting.
So he's addressing the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. He just flat said it right here. This is the New Testament. So we know who he's speaking to.
Can you click on abroad?
Click on abroad.
Well, he said he was going to scatter us.
Dispersion. That is specifically, concretely, the converted Israelites resident in Gentile countries,
Wow.
which are scattered abroad.
This is crazy, man. Like,
Thank you
it's
for saying
strong,
this. Click on that.
yeah. It tell you way more than this shit. All you want to know what abroad means.
I just wanted to see if
The
it was
Israelites
saying,
that were scattered in Gentile
I
countries.
wanted to see if it was specifically going to say like overseas or whatever.
They did the research. They done the history and know who these people are. We the
Then
ones that
B
don't
tell
have-
you, it said A, the Israelites in foreign nations. B, the Christians scattered among the Gentiles. So who the Christians?
who are the original Christians.
The Israelites. We are the Christians.
Because Christian literally means what?
Christ.
Christ, like, or a follower of Christ. We know who followed Christ.
This is crazy, man.
It's pretty. I'm telling you, man. We lifting up the veil from our people's faces. It's blinded. We just didn't know.
If y'all don't have the strong concordance on your phone, please get it, man. It'll save you a lot of confusion.
Technology is your best friend sometimes, man. Sometimes it can be the worst enemy, but sometimes it can really help. Use it for the good that it can do. Instead of looking up crazy stuff, let's look up these words and see what they mean.
Click on one word.
We didn't have this ability when you just reading your Bible at home. You can't click on the page and it turns into a definition.
You don't have to think no more. Like,
So now we're gonna get into a little bit. Oh, hold on, we got one more. Acts 1 verse 6 says more proof.
I added.
Yeah, I'll read this.
Nah, it's everything you've been saying, man. I'll ask what?
Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. So we still in the New Testament. Because that's where it gets confusing is the New Testament.
And
Old
this
Testament is cut and dry. We already know who the Old Testament is talking about. All through. There ain't no confusion. Ain't no running around. Israel all day. That's all you see. Israel, the God of Israel. Israel, I love. I'm in the midst of Israel and none else. Y'all above all people. That's all throughout the Old Testament. It's the New Testament. That's why they want to do away with the Old Testament. They don't want you to read that.
Acts chapter 1 verse 6. This is the Jews talking to Christ. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Because they knew what? They asked him that because of what?
Tired of being in captivity.
Because they knew the scriptures that said, and the prophets that said that we was going to get the kingdom again. They was wondering if this was the time. Lord, is this you coming now to restore the kingdom back to Israel?
We read earlier that the other nations are nothing. But now the people that are nothing have became what? Lords over us. So they asking Christ, is this the time you going to restore again the kingdom to Israel? They didn't say if you coming to save the world. They ain't worried about the people that's nothing. Hey, is it time, Messiah? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. He didn't say, well, like you wrong for saying we going to restore the kingdom back to Israel. He just said it ain't the time for you to know. But it's going to happen.
So, moving on to Luke 19, chapter 19, verse 11.
Luke chapter 19, verse 11.
Start at verse 9.
Luke chapter 19, verse 9. And Jesus said unto him, This day is salvation come to this house. For what house mean? Click on. I'm looking for a family.
Right there.
A family.
So he's talking about a particular people. This day is salvation come to this house, for so much as he also is the son of Abraham. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save which was lost.
What was lost?
Israel.
Why he not coming out and straight up saying Israel and stuff like that?
Because he knows that the other nations could like.
Because the people, they ruling us now, but he talking in public. So he giving you key words. You should know who is lost if you read in the Bible. You should know who this house is if you read. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save which was lost. And as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of God should immediately appear. Mm-hmm. They thought they asked him, "What is it? Is it now? Is it now time for you to restore the kingdom to who? Back to Israel?" But here he called it the kingdom of what? Kingdom of God.
It's not in here, but I wanted to just do the precept on that Luke 19. So we just read where he said, verse 10 again, he said, for the Son of Man, who is that? Christ, because it's capital. Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. That which was lost, right?
I have not come but to the house.
So who, like we said, we just said who was lost. We should know who was lost. But that's why you gotta go precept upon precept. He'll tell, the Bible will tell you who exactly he's talking about. Read verse 24. Matthew 15, verse 24.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, it's in red, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We just said he was going to a house. And I said a house mean what?
Family.
So this, Matthew 15, 24 let you know who the house is and who the lost sheep is. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And this is the verse when the lady was from the other nation was crying and saying, my daughter need help. Mm-hmm. And he was ignoring her.
So again, right, I can write that down right next to Luke 19:11. That's perfect transition into that, showing you exactly who the lost was. So if you were showing somebody and they be like, I don't understand, it's just talking about to seek and save the them who was lost, that was lost. Because he don't even say who, he say that which was lost. Now you can go right to it and say this is saying the exact same thing, except he's just being more descriptive on it.
He don't care about them. He got to talk to people in the crowd without getting killed, because it ain't his time to die right now. And that's how we should be. Mm-hmm. If you in a place and there's a lot of heathens, you ain't got to come out and say such and such is the devil. We gonna rule and enslave. Y'all can talk in a way that this person will know exactly who you talking about. Mm-hmm. We had slang, code words. Now they know all our stuff. They stay trying to study us so they can know what we talking about. We can't talk indirectly for nothing without them knowing that.
So now we're going to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, starting in verse 42.
Says how we became Gentiles. This is the middle part that they took out that explain how we get to all these lands.
So we start at verse 42. So we're going to go, my bad, 42 down to 50, then we're going to come back up a little bit. We're going to jump around in there. So start at verse 42.
1 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 42. And everyone, this, give them a breakdown.
So King Antiochus.
No, you sure it's chapter? What chapter is it?
Yeah, it's chapter 1.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 42. This is when, go to that timeline.
On the page.
Yeah. The Hellenistic period. We just read what a Hellen is, right? We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. I don't even want to show them too much. So this is the kings, the Grecian, the original Roman people trying to send us into captivity. So moreover, King Antiochus wrote this to his whole kingdom. Remember that map I said that at their peak, they had last week, they had all of that area from Africa to Jerusalem to Italy and all of that. Mm-hmm. So this man wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
So again, he's making everybody, he's basically giving a commandment, his own commandment, saying everybody gonna be one people. Ain't gonna be no doing what you want to do. Y'all gonna leave the laws that y'all was given. And he said the heathen agreed, so the other nations agreed that was there. And he said many Israelites also consented to his religion. And they sacrificed unto idols, profaned the Sabbath. Read on.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
So he sent letters to Jerusalem.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. So this is showing why during this time they wasn't keeping the Sabbath day. And what are the festival days? The feast days.
No more keeping what?
Name some feast days we keep. We got one coming up around. She said Atonement, Tabernacle, Passover,
Feast of Dedication,
Memorial, the blowing of the trumpet. No more of that.
So why is he going around saying this? That he wanted us to stop keeping our laws and all of that. What benefit is that doing to them if we not keeping our laws, especially us?
There's a verse for that.
Because
if we disobey the laws of God, what happened to the other nations? They rise up. It ain't no middle for us. So they automatically float to the top. But if we keeping the laws and doing what's right, what happened to them? They be our servants. So that man is commanding us to go to the bottom pretty much. Mm-hmm. Now think of it in today's time. Why you think they pushing modern day Christianity on us? Don't keep the Sabbath day. Keep Sunday as the day of worship.
The difference today is at this time, as we're going to read a little bit further, you're going to see, it was more forced on us then. It was death. It was death if you didn't do it. Now, we so destroyed now that people, we willingly do these things. We not.
But our original people that got to this land, they was whipped. Y'all seen Root?
Right.
What's your name, boy? Pledge your allegiance to the flag. Look at the people that's catching hell that don't want. Either make this money or you out of here if you don't pledge your allegiance. But verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
Just all these abominations.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
That was a law, right?
And make their souls abominable with all the manner of uncleanness and profanation.
So they just making us go totally against all our morals, values, heritage, everything. They just tearing you down as a people. And the purpose of it was to do what? Verse 49.
To the end that they might forget the law and to change all the ordinances.
So that's the end goal. They want us to just basically forget our laws, which at this point, as a nation, we have. Don't nobody remember. You ask a person about the feast of dedication, they don't know what you're talking about. Asking them, telling them that about fringes, they don't know about that. Oh, what's that? They don't know. They ain't never heard of it. We done got to the point now where we done forgot the laws, and we done changed all the orders that God gave us, and now we're doing everything that He did.
Now y'all seeing why they took this out of the original Bible. And this is called the Hellenistic period.
Mm-hmm.
We were Hellenized.
Exactly. So verse 50, last verse on this.
And whoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
So that was the decree. You're going to do this and you're going to die. So of course there's going to be some people, they want to save their family, save their life. So they just had to do what they had to do. I guess we're going to be keeping these Greek laws. I guess we got to eat this pork. But see, the difference is they knew they were Israelites. They knew the commandments and the feast days and all of that. But the whole point is now further in the time, fast forward to now, verse 49 makes sense. To the end that they might forget the law. That makes sense now. Now they've accomplished that. As a whole lot of people do not know who they are. So we're going to skip up and go to verse 11. Because it was some of us that was, like I said, it was some of us that knew, and we was like, man, I guess we got to do. They didn't want to, but they were like, now some people did die. Some of our people would rather die.
Because we read Maccabees.
Right. Because remember, we read some of the stories where they were like, nah, we not doing that. We going to fight. We going to keep our laws. But then you got some of these right here. Verse 11.
Verse 11. In those days went there out with Israel wicked men.
Read that again.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked Israelites.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have much sorrow.
And we've been like that since, if you read in the scriptures, since we came out of Egypt, right? They were doing the same thing when they was in the wilderness. Man, why we gotta come out here in this wilderness, no food, no water? I'd rather go back to Egypt. We was eating good over there.
It sounds like Trump supporters too.
Mm-hmm. Let us make a covenant with them. Let's assimilate with them. That's what assimilation is all about. Mm-hmm. Let's go make a covenant with them. Because since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. They not willing to go through the grind.
They want to go back to Egypt somewhere.
We call these today those coons. Those black people or Hispanic natives that were like, to hell with our law. Let's go ahead and join with them. We cool with that. Like, they willingly want to do it. So verse 15.
And made themselves uncircumcised. And
Wait, hold on. We can actually read all of it. Go just 12 to 15. Sorry.
So this device pleased them well.
They was pleased by that.
And certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
Wow.
You get a license to sin, pretty much. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
What's a place of exercise called?
Gymnasium. It's a Greek word.
So now you're seeing where all of those customs came from.
Jerusalem was a holy place, like a place of worship. Man, you got gyms and stuff all in there. And they ran around naked back then.
It wasn't no covered up type stuff.
And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
They sold out, pretty much. Which a lot of our people do today. In the sports world, entertainment world, that who's running it? The enemies is running that. We done made ourselves uncircumcised, and we done forsook the holy covenant. Now we joining ourselves with them. Because we love We love the glory in them. It say also about us loving the glory of the Grecians more than the honor of our fathers. So now we seeing.
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
Go up a little bit from. No, the other way. So remember it said that came out of a root. King, this is King Antiochus. Where you was reading where it talked about King Antiochus?
That was down here.
42.
41, King Antiochus. Now go to that Hellenized chart. King Antiochus wrote this to his whole kingdom. 169 BC, before Christ. Secluded King Antiochus IV Epiphany outlaws Judaism on December the 25th. And on December the 25th, profanes the temple. December the 25th. Now you see why they took this out of the Apocrypha. We know the year, we know the date, we know everything. Like, they call this the Hellenistic period. Now they got us every year, the favorite time of the year, y'all, and you putting this with the Son of Christ.
Yes.
Really, you doing what? You
Celebrating
celebrating the downfall of the
Your
temple.
nation. He outlawed your laws.
The day that he outlawed your laws and the day he profaned the temple. That's really what you celebrate.
But we ain't got people that don't think about it like that. Nah, we ain't doing it for that.
It's for the kids.
It's for the kids. That's what they say.
You leading your kid, you say don't pass your kid through the fire. That's exactly what you doing, man. Lying them kids.
So it's making sense. Where we at? So now we need to read in the Zondervan dictionary the word Greek or Greece, Grecian. I'll pass this around too if y'all want to see it. But it's the same thing. It's going to tell you about Greece. Give me a second. I'm just going to read the first.
Go around.
So it says, I'm going to read it first and I'm going to pass it so everybody can see it. So, Zondervan Bible Dictionary, Greece, in parentheses also says Grecia or Grecians. Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists. Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished. Greeks are generally those of I can't even say it right. Hellenic race. But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens. Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews, folk of the dispersion from areas predominantly Greek. So y'all read that. The first few lines right here. So what is that telling us? What we just
What did you say?
read on Helen.
Agree. But go ahead.
Yeah, you right. But same thing. It's basically showing you when you see some of these words, sometimes it meant the Greek speaking Jews. We're English speaking Jews. Nah. We're Americans. By citizenship. But we're by blood, we're Israelites. And we're gonna read that too. Was there anything more you needed to read off of here? So the next verse that we're going to is gonna show an example with Paul. So Acts chapter 22.
Because there's a very famous verse that people that don't understand the Bible love to quote. I think you got the Jew or Greek in there.
I may not, but we can go to it if it's not after this. So Acts chapter 22, 25 through 29. So in parentheses it says, Paul was a Roman citizen, but an Israelite by blood. He knew this. This is New Testament. So start at verse 22.
Acts chapter 22, verse 22.
Wait, let me make sure. No, 25. I'm sorry. 25 through 29.
Acts chapter 22, Verse 25. And as they bound him up, and as they bound him with thongs, they just tied him with ropes. Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, centurion is a Roman soldier of 100. Is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned?
So Paul right here, he's like he said, he's about to get bound up. He's trying to save himself. He's like, hey, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that's a Roman? He talking about himself.
Imagine you being in, what's another country that's under America?
Puerto Rico.
He's like, hey, is it lawful for you to top an American without going to a court process first? I'm an American. Boy, your country can get in trouble for this, is what he said. He's an American, he's a Roman by citizenship, like he said.
Verse 26.
When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman.
So they said this man is a Roman. Let me click on that real quick. See if you say it.
He's an Hellenistic Jew.
A resident of the city of Rome, a Roman citizen.
Does it say any race? It's just saying that he's a citizen of this land. Rome was that's why they called this kind of like Rome. Rome was a melting pot. Then,
go ahead. 27.
Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm a Roman.
But he an Israelite too. And the chief captain answered, with the great sum attained I this freedom. So the chief had to pay money to be a Roman. Well, guess what Paul said? And Paul said, but I was freeborn. Meaning what?
He's a free slave.
I was freeborn.
He's a Jew.
When some of the Mexicans come around, come in this land, they have to pay, like when they come from Mexico in the United States. It ain't no free just to get there. They had to pay some kind of fee.
To be a citizen.
But what some of them say? I was born here in America. Paul was saying I was free-born. I was born in Rome. I wasn't from another land and had
to obtain citizenship.
Want to migrate to Rome and pay money to gain citizenship. I was born here. Meaning his parents or his grandparents or whoever, they were Hellenistic and had to pay, like they didn't have to pay, but they had to assimilate into it. He was born into it. Same way we is in America. We not Caucasian. I'm talking about the black people. We were just born in this land, the ones to this day.
Verse 29.
Then straightway they departed from him, which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him.
So they was good. Go ahead.
I got a question. Why they didn't know he was a Roman? Why he had to tell them, hey man, you know what you're doing? I'm a Roman.
Because he was black.
Oh! He looked like...
So he's admitting right there that he was a Roman citizen, free-born, and was born to it.
For example, some Mexicans, you wouldn't know they was born if they came from Mexico 2 days ago, or if they was born here in America. Unless they speak or they tell you where they're a citizen of. Or if they dress a certain way. He had to tell them I was Roman.
So we have we're at Romans chapter 11, verse 1.
So Romans is the key right now. We should have a better understanding who this book was written to, the Romans. Romans chapter 11, what?
Verse 1.
I say then, have God cast away his people?
So that question's
Who is
been
talking?
asked. Paul saying, have God cast away his people? Who is his people?
The Israelites.
The Israelites. Remember we said that that's the lie going around is that he did away with the Israelites. He's not fooling with them no more. Now he's dealing with everybody. But he said, has God cast away his people?
God forbid.
No.
For I am also an Israelite.
So now he's saying, I'm an Israelite.
Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. But what Paul just said, just in the other verse.
He just called himself a Roman.
But he said he
By
let me
citizenship.
by citizenship. But he's really from the tribe of Benjamin. As letting y'all know that the Romans are what? Scattered Israelites that were made Hellenistic or moved to Rome.
Roman citizens.
Same thing for Ephesians. Same thing for the other verses in the Bible, verses in the New Testament.
So it should it's starting to come together now. You understanding, and you can bring it up to speed to today. While we can tell somebody, yeah, I'm an American citizen, but by blood, by descendant, my line comes from Israel. I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, from the tribe of Issachar.
And he asks if God cast away his people. Because
Because
that's what they say, right? The Jews rejected God. Now he went to the Gentiles. Now the Gentiles is people. He just said God cast away his people. I'm an Israelite. That's what he's telling them. There you go. It's in there twice.
So now when you see these verses, because we just read about the Hellenistic period, we read in the Zondervan dictionary, the Greece and Grecia. A Grecian is a Greek-speaking Jew. So when you read Galatians 3:28, it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. Click on Greek.
There is, because this is what these people quote. There is no Jew nor Greek. They don't know what he's trying to say. A Hellen.
Grecian. Now you understand what that means. You can see it with different eyes. By extension, a Greek-speaking person. Greek either by nationality, whether a native, mainland Greek, islands or colonies. Here it is. In a wider sense, the name embraces all nations. No, that's not it.
They lie. But he's saying a Hellen. Grecian. So he's saying there ain't no difference between the Jews or the Hellenized Jews. Why he saying that?
Because
They're the
They're all
same people.
Israel. Don't matter if you look.
Is there a difference between us and the Jamaicans?
No.
Is there a difference between a black man in New York and a black man in California? They still black.
The Mexicans in Texas and the Mexicans in California? But they read that and say that there is no Jew, there's no difference between the Jews or the Greeks. We all one. No, you don't understand what he's trying to tell you.
Where did you read that at? Was it the 28th verse?
Yes, 28.
There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. Meaning some of them were in slavery, some of them was free in Rome. We just read that. Paul was a free man in Rome. There is neither male nor female. For ye all are one in Christ. Who is the for ye all?
Israelites.
The Israelites that are scattered, the Israelites that are still in Jerusalem, the Israelites that are still in slavery, the Israelites that are still free, the male Israelite, the female Israelite. The key is you got to click on Greek to realize he ain't talking about white people. Because when we read the word Greek when we lost, we thinking the white people Greek. We clicked on, it says a Hellen. An Israelite that was forced to convert to the ways of the Grecians. And we read when Antiochus made us throw away our laws and the Sabbath and made us profane the temple to become Grecians. We just read that in Maccabees.
We also read earlier how the characteristics of the Most High is that he don't change. He's not a man that can lie. So he done told us all, he done told the Israelites all this stuff, how he loved them and how he only chose them all throughout the scripture. But then right here, he gonna say, it's Jew nor Greek, and that all that go away.
The other nations are nothing. And now we read neither Jew nor Greek.
So the Lord telling you, I don't lie. I ain't changed. It's y'all just confused. Y'all don't know what you just don't know what's going on because it's been hidden from us. It's the way we were taught the Bible. How they wanted to teach us. They put their own spin on it. We seeing it from the lens of them instead of looking at it the right way. But they wasn't given the word, so it's not for them to know.
See, if you don't know history, see how lost you can be? If you don't know the year, you don't know who forced us to do what, why they called us Gentiles. Remember the lesson is, what's the name of the lesson?
Who are the Gentiles?
Grecian mean Gentiles. Greek mean Gentile. We're learning we were the Gentiles. We're the ones that were Hellenized and picked up the ways and the manners and the thoughts of whatever land we were sent to.
Yeah, there's other verse. Let me see if I can find that one.
And man, you don't know how hard it is to get people to understand it. Because they've been taught to love everybody for 30, 40. This was done back in 100 BC. It's 2017 now. Meaning how many years then went by?
2017.
Over 2,000 years worth of this been pushed down our throat. So, and you got a man coming up to you the next day telling you, no, that's not what it's saying. It's hard, man. It's like layers of lies that you trying to get. So your mama may not get it today. Your grandma may not get it today. I ain't saying they might not get it. I mean today. Because it's been seared in your brain.
Here's another verse that's not in the lesson. You can write down Ephesians 2 and 11. That's going to show. It's going to tell you who were the Gentiles. It says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called a circumcision in the flesh made by hands. Saying what? At once we was in that same Gentile state of mind, right? Everybody in here at one point was Gentiles. We scattered among the nations. We was living like Gentiles in the flesh, meaning we was after their customs, doing after their laws.
Hard. We went to Sunday worship hard.
Because you know how we do. Israelites, when we do something, we do it big all the way anyway. So we took they ordinances and took it to another level. Ain't nobody doing Christmas like no black people. Ain't nobody doing
got
Thanksgiving
the red,
like
white,
black
blue
people.
J's on with the matching polo on for the 4th. We out there waving the flag, buying $200 worth of fireworks.
So it's just another precept to show you that we were Gentiles. So Gentiles can have two different meanings. Can be talking when the Lord was talking in the Old Testament, most of the time he's talking about the other nations. But then there was a time period where, remember, the northern kingdom fell off. Did away, he said, y'all not my people no more at the time, but I'm going to come back and y'all going to be my people again. But for right now, y'all not my people. Y'all Gentiles now. Because y'all want to worship idols.
12 says that. That at that time, you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope, and without God in the world. That's exactly what he said.
So you're a Gentile. Remember we read in 2nd Ezra where it said they are nothing, right? You basically became nothing. They became nothing. When they wasn't part of the, when they weren't considered part of us, now they're strangers to the covenant. It don't pertain to you no more at this time. We weren't even dealing with them. But it was going to be a time period where they was going to get grafted back in. That was already prophesied. So now we're going to go to Zechariah 12 in verse 7. So it says, the prophecy was that Judah would get it first, meaning Judah was gonna be the ones to rise first. Judah was basically the head tribe. That's why you see mostly so-called African Americans right now pushing this truth, because we the ones that had to wake up first. That was always the prophecy that it was gonna go through us, and then the other tribes are gonna start waking up and coming in. That's why you see scattered Hispanics here, natives there that's keeping it, but the majority you see nothing but African Americans so far. Judah.
Zechariah chapter 12 verse 7.
So this is gonna say it right here.
The Lord shall save the tents of Judah first.
Mm-hmm.
Tents meaning what? Click on tents. Same thing as house, but we read what house means.
So the home, the place, the dwelling. He was gonna say the dwelling place.
Family, it means family.
Because home, remember, house and home is the same thing.
So, the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah.
So that's his prophecy, right? He said, so that the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. They weren't going to be able to magnify themselves over Judah. They the head tribe. Christ came out of Judah. Remember, and I think we're about to read this next, actually. Genesis 49.
Judah means Judah.
So now, in this time, the tribe of Judah has to wake up first?
That IUIC, GMS, ISUPK, all these Israelite camps that been out since whatever, they started out as black. They black.
And then the other tribes wake up after?
You see the other tribe. If y'all watch those videos, y'all see Native Americans, Mexicans, all of those people growing in numbers now. It ain't just one or two. They got their own camps now.
We the head tribe. You can tell just by history too. Look back in the like I guess what you would call the civil rights era and all of that. We always the ones out in the forefront fighting for oppression for minorities and all of that. It starts with us, and then afterwards comes the Hispanics and natives after us. We the ones that took the beatings for all of that, getting sprayed down by the police and beat down and all that type of stuff. More like you said, the Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We got that head in us. That head tribe has been in us. And we about to read
That should explain to y'all why they be on our necks so hard.
Exactly.
Because it's prophesied we'll be the first ones to raise up.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm supposed to
Genesis 49 and 10. So this is Jacob, our forefather, was given before he passed. He was basically telling us what was going to befall us in the last days.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah.
So when it says the scepter, what does that mean? What is that in reference to?
Royalty.
Right. The kingship, the rulership, like I said, royalty, shall not depart from Judah.
Nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. Who is Shiloh? Click Shiloh. It's going to tell you who Shiloh is. That strong concordance is a beast, man. Oh, yeah. The Messiah. So, Judah going to be the rulers, the lawgivers, until the Messiah come. Mm-hmm. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Because that's what he's supposed to do, right? He's going to come bring us back to the land. He's going to gather us back.
All of us. Northern kingdom, southern kingdom, everybody. That's what Christ's going to bring back together. So we see him back-to-back prophecies. We showing you where Judah was shown to be the head tribe and they was going to be the ones first to get it. Romans 1 and 16. Paul knew the prophecy also.
So we all know who the Romans, the Hellenized, Paul talked to the Hellenized Jews. Romans chapter 1, verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek.
So that could be misconstrued again with somebody that ain't been through this lesson to click on Hellenist, read Grecian, read who these people were. Because he said to everyone that believed.
Man, they be that. This is the verse they use, man.
They gonna take that and run with it.
That's to everybody that believe. To the Jew first, and then also the Greek, the Gentile.
But see, that contradicts what we read earlier then, right? If that's the case. So then what did he mean in these other verses then? That's what you need to ask these people when they saying that. So what does these verses mean? Why did that just go away?
Should ask them who are the Greek. Should tell them to click on Greek, and it says Hellenized Jew.
So that's what he was telling us, saying that the knowledge of the salvation, the waking up was going to be to the Jew first, then to the Greek, which is
The Israelites.
the Israelites.
But then you might even have to click on Jew because they're thinking probably the Jewish people.
It ain't gonna say.
Let's click
It
on
can't
Jew.
tell you the color now.
Let's see what it say for Jew.
The circumcised. I bet you.
Belonging to Jehudah, which is Judah. Belonging to the Jewish nation, Jewish as respects to birth, birth, and religion. Basically, the tribe of Judah. We know who Judah was, right? What tribe was part of Judah?
Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Basically, your black tribes, the darker
The
tribes.
northern kingdom,
Everyone else.
that's pretty much the Greeks.
But later on, we became also
Paul
was Benjamin.
yeah.
Paul was from Benjamin.
He was.
That's
grew
why
up
he
in Rome.
woke up first. He was the one that had to bring them back. All the prophecy makes sense now. Now you understand why a lot of them was pushing. Why the Lord used certain people.
I got something else I want to say. The ones that considered Hellenized Jews, do y'all think they only slept with Jews?
No.
Some of them was looking like what?
Looking like it.
Looking like heathens because they was marrying heathens.
Being
See, when we get to America, and we just messing with our people, man, we sleeping with Chinese people, Arab people, white people. So that's why they was getting mad at Paul. Like, why you teaching them people? Them ain't our people. Man, that man is our person. His daddy was a Jew. He just ain't look like you no more. You looking at somebody like Tiger Woods. Man, why you hanging with him? He's still your people.
Yeah, like Blake Griffin.
Like, yeah, they'll see you preach. Blake Griffin preaching the word.
They be like, hold on,
That man is just a Hellenized Jew, man.
Daddy black is on the what?
His daddy fell off.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, you want to see.
He ought to see his mama. Pull up Blake Griffin mama.
All right now.
You really know. He's gonna give you Gene nightmares.
He's gonna give you the heebie-jeebies, boy.
He's gonna give you Gene nightmares.
Put parents.
Sun is whiter than white.
Look at him, mom. Pure Esau, huh?
That's
Look at his dad.
like a perfect.
Pure Israelite, huh?
They don't
Look like Nick.
Now imagine him out there. Now look at Blake. Imagine Blake. One of us talking to Blake, trying to be like, "Yeah, you an Israelite, blah blah blah." They was getting mad at Paul for going to them people. Them still our people, man. No matter how you feel about his daddy sinning, Blake can't help it that his daddy did that.
Exactly.
He still need a shot at making it into the kingdom.
Yep. So that's why another thing, it's not a color thing. It ain't just about color, it's about your seed. Where you come from.
When we make it in the kingdom, it's gonna be some Asian looking people. It's gonna be some white looking people.
That's why you gotta treat everybody like.
You don't know who is who.
Cause remember when Peter, who was that he went to? What was the dude's name? the centurion.
Mm-hmm.
When Peter was on the roof and he had that vision about rise, Peter, eat.
Yeah.
That was when he told him. He said, "Look, it's not. What was his name? What was the dude's name?
It was Paul, huh?
No, not Paul.
Paul was having a vision, right?
No,
It was Peter.
Or Peter was having a vision.
No.
I remember.
I can't think of the name right now. It just slipped. But anyway, yeah, Peter went and talked to the dude. He was a centurion in the Italian army.
Yeah.
It wasn't Paul. It was another dude.
Yeah, they told him that somebody was gonna be at your
They told him
door.
somebody gonna be at your door. He was saying, usually we don't deal with y'all. He said, but it was made known to me that
Don't
I'm not to
call.
call no man clean or unclean. That's why, cause that's why we have to go to people. Yeah, cause he told him rise, Peter, eat. The vision that had food all in it, but it wasn't about food. It was about who you was. It was a vision about what he was about to encounter. These men came and knocked on his door. They were to go get him. He was to go basically teach them the word.
It ain't look like us though. Some up.
So anyway, we're on the last verse, Isaiah 48, 9 and 11. I'm gonna think of the dude's name too. I got it. I'm about to get it right now. I can't. It's going.
Go to Acts 10. Cornelius.
Cornelius. Yeah, that's what it is. Cornelius. Thank
I
you.
had highlighted everything.
I'm like, man, I
remember that
couldn't.
story.
His name was right there on my tongue.
The man name was Cornelius. That's a
And he was. They said he was in the Italian army too. He was an Italian. That's another thing. Was
Yeah.
Cornelius not an Israelite?
Yeah.
Or was he an Israelite?
He was an Israelite.
That man was a devout man. That man knew. But he still had to be taught some things. So they was like, yeah, we go get Peter. That's a man
Pure
named
Israelite
Peter.
had to go put him on game.
Exactly. Y'all gotta read them stories. You gotta be able to piece that together and know what's
Now
going
you got
on.
a better mind. Now you know why they was tripping on Paul.
Because remember, we had the lesson about Hosea the prophet. We read Hosea when Lo-Ami and all of that talking about y'all not my people. He was basically saying y'all don't deal with them no more. So they were still on that mindset like, no, we ain't dealing with them. It was when Christ went to the well to the Samaritan woman. Y'all don't deal with us. Why you even over here? Y'all ain't supposed to be dealing with us. And he's like, if you even knew who I was, you'd be asking me for water. Not this water, but water where you'll never thirst. He talking about the word. She didn't know. I mean, but she knew she was from the line of Jacob though, because she was talking about this
Our
is Jacob's
father.
well. Our father Jacob, his well. So anyway, Isaiah 48, 9 through 11.
Isaiah chapter 48, verse 9.
Just to bring it all together. We done read all of this. We established our base. We read who the Gentiles was. And this is just wrapping it up, basically showing you.
For my name's sake will I defer mine anger, and for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off.
I'm not going to cut y'all off. He said he's doing it for my name's sake, not because of something we did. Because I'm the Most High, and my word don't stand. Yeah, y'all done been disobedient. I'm going to keep a remnant of y'all. Some of y'all going to make it. That's the obedient one. I ain't going to cut y'all completely, y'all. Because it was a promise made to the forefathers. Yeah. So that's why he said, for my praise, I'm going to refrain for thee that I cut thee not off. Just for that praise.
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. For mine own sake, even for my own sake, will I do it.
So he's letting you know over and over why he's doing it. Ain't got nothing to do with us.
We ain't crap, man. Don't think because you holy or
Because you keep the comparison. Something we really nothing.
You been broke the law.
We been did wrong.
For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another.
Another what?
Nation.
Another nation. I'm not gonna give away my glory, my honor, my respect to these other nations. Man, they gonna pollute it. They don't even know what to do with it. He said all this is for my own name's sake.
Read 12 to even get so they'll even know. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my call.
Wow.
I am he, I am the first, and I am the last. I am also the last.
Dang, that's a heavy verse. My called. Is Jacob and Israel. Because remember, we got verses talking about many are called. Many of who are called? Because only he said my called. Wow.
And that said, but few are chosen. Who are the chosen?
Israel.
Man, you can go, look, it's airtight, man. Y'all heathens can try to squeeze in there all you want. You ain't getting in the gates of heaven.
12 gates.
Got what are the names on the gates?
Names written on the gates.
The 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples was Israelites.
Because what's a lot of they say that there's one big pearly gate, right? To enter into heaven. That's a lie. They just take little stuff like that and lie about it. You can go straight to Revelation and see there's 12 gates. With the names of the children of Israel on it. With 12 angels standing by the gates. The bouncers letting people in. Let me see, you Israel? No, you not Israel. You can go kick rocks, man. Get out of here. Oh, you Judah? Okay, you get
Why? That's why they try to say, my great-great-granddaddy was a Cherokee. My great-great-grandmama was Native American. They try to squeeze. Look, man, you're not getting in, man. They know.
So we want to thank everybody for watching today's lesson, and shalom.